Hello. Today I'm going to harvest the first of our potatoes. I'm Liz Zorab and this is By the Farm. I planted these on the 22nd of March. I don't know how much you'll hear because the wind is so blustery, but I'll just show you what I've been doing. So I saved potatoes that were green last year when I harvested them, and I've saved those in my greenhouse, just in a bucket. So I didn't carefully wrap them or anything. I just tossed them in a bucket. Anyway, they're absolutely fine, and I'm putting those in as my seed potatoes for this year. And if I think I need more spuds, then I will get some seed potatoes. And then I've put on a mulch. It's about 3, maybe 4 inches deep of grass clippings. And when he mows his lawn next time, I'll cover this end as well. And hopefully that will give me a nice crop of potatoes this year. Whew. Oh look, the wind has dropped for a second. But anyway, I think it's time for a cup of tea. And it's now the 28th of June. So they've had 12 weeks, nearly 13 weeks in here. And when I planted them, I just laid them onto the soil and I covered them over with layers of used duck bedding and grass clippings, and I've just layered those one on top of the other. This corner gets very dry because it's underneath the fruit trees, so it doesn't get as much rainfall coming down onto it, but also underground the tree roots use up quite a lot of the moisture. So I'm not expecting great things from this end of the bed. The other end of the bed will be a different story. So here we go. So you can see it's a good deep layer of mulch over them, and now I'm getting down to the soil that was in this raised bed. Hear the birds and see the sun. Side by side our fears are done. Oh, the good times just begun. So they're coming out nice and clean, which is makes life easier in the kitchen. Oh. Crazy, but things are finally right. With you and I, the future is bright. You and I, we got it. We don't need no more. Even in the hard time, you and I can weather any storm. Before I sleep, so let's have a look. That was just a handful of potatoes from this plant that really struggles to get enough moisture. Let's go down to the other end of the bed, which gets watered much more. I'm really hoping that this will be a completely different story. There's a lot more growth here. It's a much bigger, healthier looking plant. So I am crossing my fingers and toes and all of those things that this will prove to be a really healthy harvest. What I'm not sure of yet is whether there's one plant here and one plant there, but I'll go for this one in the corner, which actually doesn't look that big. But let's have a look. Crazy, but things are finally right. With you and I, the future is bright. Well, that's interesting because that also doesn't have very many potatoes, and it's not that they are desperately small. There's just not very many of them. So I'm going to move on and do that plant there, which looks, this is the one that looks much larger. There we go, and it's a different variety. So this one has red eyes, whereas this one's pale. I think this is probably Maris Piper, and this is probably a Pentland. There were a lot of very small potatoes to come on that plant, and I will just have a little feel around in the soil here. I have hit an ant's nest, so let's have a look. And another one. Huge amount of top growth and not very much below the ground. Except for this beastie. Look at that. So I'm going to leave anything else that's in there because I think I've actually got plenty for lunch. So let's have a look. This is 2.5 plants. It doesn't look like a huge, apart from this big one, it's actually not a huge number of potatoes. I am slightly surprised how few there are. And I think I'm going to leave it another couple of weeks before I harvest any more to give what's in there a chance to get a bit larger, because if I'm only going to have a few potatoes from each plant, I'd like them to be larger than salad potatoes. So as promised in the patrons live chat last weekend, we are also doing a taste test of the potatoes. Smell nice?
Smell excellent, yeah.
Smell like potatoes?
I do.
So I've boiled them with a little bit of salt, and I may have put a spot of butter on them because everything tastes better with a little bit of butter. And yeah, they're going to be hot, so we'll just blow for a second.
Very elegant, isn't it?
Well, I think I might cut this out actually if that's just blowing on potato.
Ready?
Ah. Oh. Those are good. So they're very floury, very light, aren't they?
They're very light. That is a good spud.
We don't generally just eat boiled potatoes, do we? Unless they're, and we do if they're mashed, but I tend to either cook them in a sauce or we have them roasted.
Yeah.
Or jacket potatoes. Very good. So, rather than just sit and eat a bowl of potatoes, I've actually done a casserole to go with them. So we're going to head off and have casserole.
Sounds good to me.
And so, wherever you are in the world and whatever you've got planned for today, I hope it's a good one. I also hope you'll join us again next time.